Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of Dismal Disney.
Yeah, so apparently Josh Gad wanted to throw his voice in support of Bob Iger. And it did not go well for him on Instagram. He got a lot of backlash.
Yeah, this is so weird. I can't tell who you're supposed to root for in this situation because a lot of actors and writers and the unions, they were against Bob Iger because Bob Iger was one of the holdouts in signing the agreements. And Josh Gad's like, hey, yeah, he's a great guy. And they're like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah, because basically the people that were on strike last year with the WGA and SAG-AFTRA are not happy. And then other, people that are Parks fans or whatever aren't not happy about the direction, all chimed in on Instagram and kind of ratioed him hard.
So, yeah. That didn't go well. Sometimes it's better to just say nothing. But, everybody's Disney's trying to get all the support they can get for old Bob because for some reason they're convinced he's going to get gone. I don't know.
I don't know either. It doesn't make sense to me. So now they're mad at Olaf. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, get woohoo if you do. Woohoo.
Didn't he get in trouble before for like some political hot takes or something?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, it's probably unpopular opinion. I don't like Josh Gad. I find him annoying. Sorry.
You play a talking, singing, dancing snowman.
Mm-hmm. And you're also LeFou in Beauty and the Beast, and that was a whole controversy because they were supposed to they made a big deal how there was LGBTQ representation in the Beauty and the Beast live action. It basically amounted to him making goo-goo eyes at one person, and then dancing with them. That was it.
Gay adjacent.
Yeah.
He was gay adjacent. Okay.
So, yeah. Anyway, so this story comes from Mr. Milo on powersandprincesses.net, which is my blog. So if you want to hear more about Disney news, you can go out to that. And they're talking about how during this proxy war, all these voices are coming out for and against Bob Iger, and Bob Iger's gotten George Lucas out there. He's got the Apple CEO Steve Jobs' wife to do it too, which he kissed Jobs' ass, and he admitted that he was always in there because he thought he liked Jobs.
Yeah, he thinks he is Steve Jobs. That's the thing.
He thinks he's Walt Disney.
Yeah, and
he's
not.
under the impression that the Disney company can't operate without him, and he thinks he is Disney. So that Abigail Disney, all these people. Well, now Josh Gad is doing it, but Josh Gad's also up Disney's ass so hard he's popping out the nose like a carrot, and he made this comment on Instagram, and it did not go well. He said, "What this man has done and continues to do for the Disney company is unprecedented since the days of Walt himself dreamed the impossible into life." So you're literally putting Iger on the same level as Walt, which is where he wants to be. Mm-hmm. "I am fortunate to have seen some of the plans Bob Iger and his incredible team have in store for the future. And that future could not be in better hands," says the guy who gets paid to do more Frozen foams. "Fellow shareholders, join me in supporting Bob and his entire at Disney team by voting for them today. Don't leave the magic to people who only understand it as dollars and cents." He shits rainbows and he pisses pixie dust. It's amazing, guys. Wow. He is Disney. He is Walt reincarnated. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say I'm reading the comments here, and it's but this is I know he's gotten political before. This is kind of the audience that you've cultivated, right? So now you get to answer to them.
So immediately after he does this, and these are getting this one has over 1,900 likes.
Oh my God.
He was one of the people at the forefront of letting actors starve and have their homes foreclosed on them instead of paying them what they deserved and treating them fairly.
But he's not about dollars and cents,
Here's
right?
replies to this. Yeah, there were also working actors as well as crew who were out of work for months and couldn't pay their bills or feed their families. And this guy literally said, let them starve and lose their homes. The actors and writers strike didn't just affect actors making millions of dollars. It affected all of us who rely on productions continuing. Goes on here, talking about another sentiment to others' rebuttal. 90% of SAG's talent barely made enough to cover their health insurance, which I believe SAG agreement was $25,000. Bob was absolutely the forefront of Amp Tip, who wouldn't back down.
That is actually true. So it's not. So now, see, again, we were ahead of the curve. We told you what kind of people Disney were actually like, and
Yeah, what do we know?
What do we know?
What these actors and writers are asking for is not realistic. Bob Iger talking about the strikes. I'm an employee of a Disney subsidiary. I have not gotten a raise or given a living wage increase since I was hired 2 years ago. My insurance doesn't cover dental or vision. My team was slashed in half last year as part of Disney's cost-saving measures. Let's be realistic about how this man's leadership impacts employees who don't get million-dollar paychecks. I love the Disney brand so much, but I hate how everything is behind a paywall now or is crazy expensive and out of reach for regular customers and guests, especially in the parks. Disney feels a bit out of touch, and cast members are still not paid enough. Agree.
Wow.
Josh, blink twice if you're okay. This man is responsible for making Disney parks a luxury instead of accessible. The man that's too busy counting his earnings instead of paying actors and writers fairly. The man that's behind raising all the costs just because... Yeah, no, thanks, Josh. You can take a hike.
Wow.
Said fellow shareholders is all I needed to hear.
Well, there are some people out there who feel like if you have any shares of any stock, even if it's a freaking penny stock, that you are somehow wealthy. You know, you get $50 in stock and you're rich. You know. Yeah.
But it goes on and on, guys. Like they're talking like get him to pay his cast members better with a living wage first. I agree. Was he laughing about writers and actors starving, going homeless to break the strike? Your enthusiasm is not shared by frontline theme park workers, but he is the least worst choice right now. Don't agree with that. You had me until dollars and cents. You have priced the average family out of being able to visit the parks, and that is opposite of what wanted. Also true. Did this account get hacked, or did the higher ups at Disney confiscate your Instagram?
It sounds like, look, I'm going to tell you the truth. And I mentioned this in the video earlier today, talking about them pulling out all the stops to protect Bob Iger. A lot of these statements that are being made to praise Bob Iger don't sound like they're coming from the people.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
It's weird.
It sounds very like, oh, hey, George Lucas, let's have our Disney PR people draft something, and you agree with this, sign off on it.
That's what they all sound like. They all very much sound like you just sign what we give you. Like they're not writing their own. It doesn't sound like they're writing their own opinions. I don't know. I don't think I think Gad's gagged me enough to write this himself. He just like sucks up to Disney so hard. It's ridiculous. But some of the other people, it did not sound like them. I think it was just, you run this and agree to it. I don't know what's going on, but they're like dragging him. Like none of these are in support of him. They're dragging his ass.
Wow. And it's not even summer.
No.
Dragging your ass in summer.
Because, like, you know, they're doing all these new these Frozen sequels.
Well, that's what he's counting on, banking on, because he's a part of that. He wants to be Olaf forever.
Well, they also were supposed to do Honey, I Shrunk the Kids again with him. And he keeps pitching different shows to Disney, and he gets the front line to go right to Iger to pitch shows and ideas. So of course he's going to kiss his ass because he doesn't want to start over with somebody else.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the favorites. Him and Uncle Jesse, John Stamos. He's another one that, you know. But I'm saying as far as like currently working Disney actors, he's definitely like in like Flynn with them. So.
Yeah. So he's like, vote for Bob.
Vote for Bob. I don't want somebody else.
But again, I want to point this out. Okay. What I want to point out again about this, because you did the video earlier, was what this man continues to do for Disney company is unprecedented. Again, he isn't up for removal. It's not him that they're trying to remove. And they are running with it again, that if you vote for Peltz and company, you're voting Iger out. And that's not what's going on. And Peltz has reconfirmed that over and over again. He's like, we're not trying to vote Bob out off a CEO. I think they're trying to get him off the board, but not a CEO. Yeah. They're like, we want to replace these other two people who don't have as much, of the different qualifications that they want, as other people do. And they're just trying to replace two board members, but they keep running with, if you vote for them, you're replacing Bob Iger. And that's not what they're doing or saying.
Well, he's definitely scared about something. And people mentioned in the comments. Yeah, control. People mentioned in the comments of the other video, they're like, is it possible that you get Nelson Peltz and Jay Rizzullo, both of them money guys, you get them on the board? They might crack open the books and see if, because I mean, again, we saw Christine McCarthy got gone under some dubious circumstances. It's very possible that there's some stuff they want hidden.
Well, we had the whistleblower and all that stuff, and that was under Iger.
Yeah.
It's very possible. But there's definitely something going on, but it seems like it's a matter of control because they keep pushing this narrative, and Josh Gad's pushing the same narrative, but it's blowing up in his face because they don't like him. But the idea is if you bring Peltz and Marzullo in, it's because they're going to get rid of Bob Iger, and that's not what they say they're going to do. But they might ensure that he does have a successor, but they aren't voting him off. I think they said they withheld voting him. When they put their votes in, they withheld voting for him for the board seat, but they want to keep him as CEO. I think he wants to control everyone.
Yeah.
And he wants people in there that are friends of his or people that he can control. But again, Gad's running with a narrative that we have to keep Iger in there, but that's not what that's not who they're trying to take out of play.
No.
So you're once again running with that same narrative they keep saying is not true. And that's what they double down on because people are listening to this.
They're like, well, it's like they're covering all the bases. Let's get somebody from every major Disney franchise.
Oh, yeah, Pixar,
to sing his praises. So we got to get so we got, we're doing like 50,000 Frozen movies. So let's get Josh Gad out there to represent the Frozen franchise. Let's get George Lucas out there to represent Star Wars. I'm sure if they could dig up Stan Lee and bring him back to say something nice about Bob Iger, they would do it.
Mm-hmm. My parents make a joke. They're going to unfreeze Walt, and then they're going to have him come up and say, "Hey, Bob's the best.
Bob's the best.
Bob,
are you throwing your voice again? No. What makes you think that? No. That's totally Walt. Totally Walt.
I'll back Bob Iger. Okay, they can give me a crap ton of money, and I'll tell everybody to vote for Bob Iger. Bob Iger's the best on April 1st, and I'll take their money, and then we'll be like, hey, it's great.
They're like, look, they have got to be freaking out if
the way they're acting, yes.
This close to the vote, like most people probably already cast their votes, right?
I would think, but you know what was weird? I was on Facebook yesterday, and one of the sponsored posts that was coming up my Facebook timeline was the Ludwig von Drake Vote Disney. That little ad they made, that little cartoon ad, that was running as a sponsored post. Disney's paying to run it as an advertisement on Facebook.
Yeah, I thought that was really weird. You're telling me about that. I'm like, that's like, again, what is the point? Because most people probably cast their votes. I know we cast our votes like as soon as the ballot came in. Mm-hmm. Most people probably already cast their votes. You already know how Nelson Peltz is going to vote. So I think they're looking at it if they've got access to those numbers, and they're probably like, "Oh no, no."
They still could win, and if they still could win, I think a lot of it is just because they're misleading people into voting for them, thinking that they're going to oust Bob Iger, and that's not what they're saying. So I mean, I'm not going to lie and say that's 100% shoo-in that Peltz and Marzullo are going to get it because I don't know that. Disney's spending a lot of money, and I'm sure they're behind the scenes. They're throwing their weight around quite a bit to contact people who have lots of shares, and they're putting their mouthpieces out. So it's very possible Disney could still win. But
it would be interesting if Josh Gad is like, okay, because there seems to be a motivation behind who's speaking out, why they would speak out. And, the one thing that Trian said they were going to do is take a look at every movie and see if it needs to exist. Mm-hmm. It might be like, do we really need to build another snowman? Mm-hmm. Josh, do we really need a Frozen 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
Well, they already announced that. They'll I think that even Trian's going to let that go because that's guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Because the box office movies they've been putting out lately have not been guaranteed money, and those will likely bring money, if we're being honest and fair.
Yeah, that's true. Just the merchandise. That's like, people don't understand why they kept making Cars movies, even though people didn't seem to like the Cars movies. It's like, because at one point in time, the Cars toys were selling so well. It didn't matter. Like Lightning McQueen stuff was selling really, really well, even though nobody seemed to like the movie or could remember the movie other than the second one being cringe. They're like, yeah, but the toys sell. Yeah. And Frozen dolls sell. So
there we are. But yeah, so Josh Gad put this out there and got his ass kicked on Instagram by, mostly SAG-AFTRA people, but it's still kind of funny. I wish I'd known. I mean, if there was a kicking party, I would have been in there. Like, come on, everybody. I'm like, it's Josh Gad. Hot damn. Make room.
I used to like him until he opened his mouth, and then
he always rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know why. I don't like him. Anyway,
a lot of people don't like him now. You're a traitor, Josh. You were supposed to be one of us, but you have stock.
Yeah, they're not happy. They're not happy.
No,
so you privileged actor who has money and we're okay to live through the strikes because you had money and you have enough money to have stock. How dare you?
How dare you?
So we're gonna wrap this up.
We're gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.